This episode of In the Breezeway with Franny and Beebs brought to you by Cedardale Framing on Highway 45 south of County Road 9, 905-352-2002. With over 25 years in business, you can see their work and the quality of their work at the Port Hope Chiropractic Clinic, Cameco Corporation, the Port Hope Fire Hall, the Town of Port Hope, and the esteemed Wall of Fame at St. Mary's High School. Cedardale Framing. Call for an appointment, 905-352-2002.
Well, welcome to another week in the Breezeway with Franny and Beebs. I'm Franny and this is Beebs. And tonight we have a special guest.
York Tom Smith.
Nice to have you on the show.
It's a pleasure to be here, gentlemen.
Last time I seen you was on the bus up there going up the Sherwood Lake there.
We were on the bus, and I don't know who saw who, but yeah, we saw a lot that night for sure.
It was a great trip. Tonight we have York on. I'm going to be under the spotlight tonight for the questions, so we're going to turn the tables like we said we would do on the radio show that we were on there. So
exactly, yeah. We had that discussion on the bus when we went to Sherwood Lake that hey, nobody really knows about you guys. You know, you're interviewing people, you're getting the stories behind the musicians around town. Well, you guys are musicians as well. Let's get your stories as well. So,
yeah.
Franny, we're going to start with you tonight. Your earliest musical influence that got you the bug.
It'd have to be Tex Richardson. I was sweeping floors at Thomas Pontiac Buick, and I was going to school, and I'd be singing the songs, like that was back as Chef Jim was on the go, Big Jim Marshall, and I'd be singing. He says, "What's a young lad like you doing listening to that old country?" I said, "Well, I was raised on this and that." He said, "Ask your father if you can come over to my place Saturday afternoon." And I said, "Okay." So anyways, I went over Saturday afternoon, and here's three old boys at the time my age now sitting around playing. So they couldn't stump me on any of their songs, so I'd get them beer and whatnot. So every time that they'd have to have a leak, they'd hold that guitar. So that's probably as far back as I can remember.
So how old were you then?
15.
So 15 years old, when they're handing you the guitar, did you start picking away then? When did you find out you could play?
They taught me. They put a chord on. Every time you see me do that, play it. Don't play it too loud. And if we don't play, like they taught you a little ethics to the guitar playing. Like if you don't know what you're doing, go easy. Learn.
Right.
So that's.
So it was a mentorship as well.
Oh yeah.
With these folks,
Yeah.
right?
Yep. There's one survivor left out of the trio that were teaching me how to play guitar. Yeah.
Do you remember the first song you learned to play start to finish?
Yep.
Do you still remember?
Yeah, enough for this.
See, that's where I was leading right there. But let's get to the way it goes.
Well, a canvas covered cabin in a crowded labor camp stand out in this memory I realize. My daddy raised a family there with two hard working hands and tried to feed my mama's hungry eyes. Oh, I still recall my mama's hungry eyes. It's a little bit of it.
A little bit of it. Well, there you go, right? You know what? There's always something about that first song you learn that sticks with you and always will. And it influences things that you move on to,
Yeah,
right?
you keep on trucking. After that, get the first one down, and the other ones come easier.
So you kept on trucking. You kept on playing. How'd you meet this guy?
I met Steve, it's probably 2 years ago now, in the backyard here. I throw a big backyard bash every year, and he was wandering across the backyard. My father said, "You know that fellow right there?" And I said, "No." He says, "He sings just like George Jones. His name's Steve Beebe. You go get him up to play." I said, "Dad, I don't even know the guy. I'm going to go over and..." "It's your dad, right?" So away I went. I said, "Excuse me." I said, "Do you see that fellow over there? He says you're quite a singer, and would you mind getting up and doing a few?" So he got up and did a few, and
Here we are.
here we are, really. Yeah.
It's been great.
Next thing you know, you're making videos, playing tunes
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
Crazy idea.
Yeah. Well, you do come up with some crazy ideas.
Yes. And not too
And I
bad.
go along with him, so he does the same for me.
Well, that's what you need, right? That chemistry, that coming up with a crazy idea, go along. Come up with a crazy idea, go along.
Sure,
Come up with a crazy idea, and we all go along with it.
I said, what's the worst thing to happen? We have a good time. Right, so,
Right? Oh, exactly.
I said, you wanna rent a coach bus and go to Sharpert Lake?
and we did.
He said, okay.
And we did. Okay, you brought that up, so I want to ask you about that because that was a fantastic experience. Not only for the folks that were up in Sharpert Lake,
Yeah.
raised some good money. We had the mayor there, we had town council there, we had some great musicians. We had a busload of musicians from here in Port Hope that went up. Where did that idea come from?
Well, young Riley, he contacted us through Facebook and asked if we could help out. And I asked my band, and two of the fellas were away that weekend at another with their kids in college. And so I said, oh, well, we're short a couple of guys, I don't know what to do. So I just come out and said, hey, what do you think if we see about all the other people that we have on the show? And it got together. I guess there was 19 of us and 17 on the bus, and 2 stragglers rolled in. up
2
there.
stragglers rolled in.
Yeah. Yeah.
So was the reaction you got to that? Because the bus was full. So not only did you have the musicians on the bus, you had fans, friends, family, and all that. What did you think about that reaction you got from everybody?
It was overwhelming, really, to know that many people. Like I was, you
It
know,
was heartwarming, really.
Yeah.
To know that.
everybody paid for the seat on the bus, even like the musicians, to go do something like that. I know that a lot of them are crazy idea kind of guys that would go hard,
Yeah.
right? Because you can only say you did it if you went for it. So that's it was pretty good, I gotta say.
So I gotta ask you then. Okay, we've done it once. Is there something else in the works? Could this be like an Ontario road show?
Well, I've got a lot of people that are giving me ideas about it right now. So we're going to talk about it in the spring, to where and when, how long of a bus drive is acceptable. I don't think I would want to go over that limit that we went. It's 2.5 hours on a bus, so it would have to be within reason.
Right.
I think that was long enough to be on the bus for. So
Especially if you're gonna get on stage and perform afterwards.
yeah, we're talking about Lindsay Port Perry might come to mind, because we've got some really good friends through the show and outside the show, and some of Steve's band is up Lindsay Port Perry way. So we're thinking maybe that we can make a community come down here and play for us down here, and in return we'll take the bus trip up there. So it's in the works, and over the winter time we might get something worked out.
That's something really cool about musicians and their fans, is that camaraderie, and it doesn't matter what kind of geographical distance you have in between.
Yeah.
As long as you're staying in touch, and especially now with social media where it's so easy to, there's no long distance bills or anything,
No.
you can make plans like this.
Oh yeah, yeah. And that's what I say, there's a couple guys that I would call them ambassadors around that area that I gotta get in contact with and shoot the idea out to them, because I know just with the response we had for the last bus trip, the next bus trip, I'm expecting the same response. So we're gonna work out some details and maybe, bring 3 of their bands down for an arena, and in return, take 3 bands up there for an arena, and see what we can do.
Speaking of bands, I want to talk to you about your band, but first I think we need to hear another tune.
All right. This is one I get asked for a little bit, just with the acoustic there. Well, we signed up in San Antonio, my brother Paul and me, fight for Ben McCullough and the Texas Infantry. Now the poster said we get a uniform for $7 a week, the best rations in the Army, and a rifle we can keep. When I first laid eyes on the general, well, I knew he was a fighting man. He was every inch a soldier, and every word was his command. He said, we gotta take St. Louis, boys, before the Yankees do. If we can control Mississippi, and the Federals are through. Now they told us that our enemies would all be dressed in blue. They forgot about the winter's cold and the curse of fever too. Now my brother died in Wilson's Creek, and Lord, I seen him fall as we fell back to the Boston Mountains in the north of Arkansas. be a foot soldier just like me, and the devil's infantry. Now on the way to Fayetteville, curse McCullough's name, mourn the dead that we left behind when we was carrying the lane. I killed a boy the other night who's never even shaved. I don't even know what I'm fighting for, I ain't never on a slave. So I snuck out of camp and then I heard the news next night. The Yankees won the battle. God lost his life. Goddamn you, America, I hate you more than any other man alive. And when you die, you'll be a foot soldier just like me, and the devil's infantry.
What a great tune.
First time heard of it. Better than Steve Earle's version, I think. And I like Steve Earle.
Oh, yes. Yeah, Steve.
Yes.
All right, fantastic tune. Absolutely, like, fantastic tune.
Thank you.
Tell us about your band, BCR. You're wearing the hat.
Well, BCR's been around for a lot of years. I always grin when I think of the boys because we were doing that 25 years ago, known as Silver Canyon and then known as the Stragglers. So we took kind of a 17 years off, really. We all raised children and whatnot. And we got a phone call one day, hey guys, want to do this?
We're putting the band back together.
So I had a backyard bash. I said, we'll invite who used to come, have an old reunion. And we played in the backyard, and the way it's been 5 years, and we're busy. And I'm thankful for it. We're lucky enough that it's a couple times a month, and they cut me off. Won't be doing any more booking, that's enough, right?
That's enough, yeah.
So.
How do you manage that with personal life and stuff and regular work and having a band that's somewhat on the side? And then you get popular and then people watch you. Next thing you know, you're going 7, 8 nights a week.
You wait till your son's 20.
No.
Freedom and freedom. I'm sorry, my kids are up and gone. They're still in touch every day, but I mean, they're up and gone. They're too
Plus,
young
if you
to-
love something, you're gonna find time.
Yeah.
Well, that's right. You made a very good point there. That passion that the music brings out in you and the desire to do it, even when you could be
Oh,
great,
you
you're butt along the
gotta
ground.
want to do it, that's for sure. And I see a lot of these young guys coming in through the show, and you can tell the want. If you don't have the want there to do it, there's a lot of people learn just to sit, do their own thing. If you want to be out in the spotlight, some of the young guys that come through, you gotta want it. You got a lot of gigs to play.
What do you think about the young ones that are coming up?
I-
Those are just getting started. Are you excited about the future of music locally?
Yes, with a couple of the guys are really keeping the roots to country. There's a lot of like folk players, a lot of but we've been just fortunate enough to find a couple of young lads that come through that they're still playing the Wayne and Jennings, they're still playing the George Jones, and they're writing songs based on what of their favorite artists, which is pretty good. Both the lads have great songs. We've had 2 20-year-old lads through, 23,
Right. It's nice to see the youth get
Yeah,
involved
it
in
sure
keeping
is.
music alive.
I
A lot of the
remember
older
it.
music, a lot of this music. I mean, you need the younger people to
Oh,
keep it alive.
certainly, yeah, certainly do.
Talk about your favorite artist. Tell us about your favorite artist and the next song you're going to play.
My favorite artist, if I could play with somebody, it'd probably be Tom T. Hall. I really don't know, there's so many good artists, but he's a storyteller. So, and he's got a lot of good stories, so that's probably my favorite of all. Beeb's got me a CD there there was like 8 or 10 that I've never heard before. And now I'm excited again to learn, because after a while, a song's really gotta, at my rating wherever, it's really gotta hit home in order for you to learn it. Like people say, oh, can you learn this song? Sure I will.
No.
You're only gonna learn what
What you feel.
Yeah,
What you feel right
if
heart,
it
right?
catches you, right?
Right,
So,
absolutely. What are you going to play for us next?
I'll play a little Tom T. Hall. telephone books lately. Well, if you ain't, then let me recommend one. I've already read that Tulsa telephone book through 13 times. If you don't know any last names, it ain't much fun. Reading that Tulsa telephone book can drive a guy insane, especially if that girl you're looking for has no last name. I gotta find her and tell her I don't want our love to end, and I'm reading that Tulsa telephone book again. Well, I was in Tulsa and didn't have anything going. She lived in Tulsa and didn't have anything on. She said, my name is Shirley, and I said, my name is T. Well, I woke up the next morning and she was gone. Now, all of the Tulsa operators know my voice now. They all know how long I've been alone. If you see a girl named Shirley with some ribbons in her hair, could you tell her that she's wanted on the phone? Reading that Tulsa telephone book can drive a guy insane, especially if that girl you're looking for has no last name. Now I gotta find her and tell her I don't want our love to end, and I'm reading that Tulsa telephone book again. I'm reading that Tulsa telephone book again.
Talk about stories, Alan.
Yeah, that's a good story.
Nailed it! Oh, I gotta tell you, great first experience in the Breezeway.
Wait,
Wow.
yeah. Is that on?
Yeah.
Give her, let her be on there just for a second. You reminded me of that song I used to. I've been kicked by the wind, drove by the sleet, I've been drunk and dirty. Don't you know I'm still willing? I was out on the road late at night and I seen my pretty Alice in every headlight. Alice, Alice. And I've been from Tucson to Tucumcari to Hatchet to Tonopah. I've driven every kind of rig that's ever been made. Driven the back road so I wouldn't get way. And if you give me weed, whites, and wine, and you show me the sign, I'll be willing to be moving. You posted that one on Facebook.
That's right, there you go. Oh, what a fantastic experience. I mean, just this.
Oh,
this
that's
is
awesome.
what you
Well,
guys-
thanks for
what
coming.
You guys do here for sure is fantastic.
Well, thank you very much, and it's very good to get to offer your time up, come over. And
We're gonna do it again.
we're gonna do it again here.
This time
on-
we're gonna shift the
We're gonna
focus
hand the
over
guitar
this
over.
side.
So keep your sticks on ice.
And sticks on these.
Well, if you're playing hockey, what do you? I mean,
Okay, sticks on these. And your beer's in case I pop in.
till next week in the Breezeway.
Yeah, next week.
Take care.